Saying the city has to act to help struggling working and middle-class Chicago families, Mayor Daley outlined the details of the city's property tax relief program, which will provide eligible homeowners refunds between $25 and $200. Here are highlights from the October 27th news conference.
During these very tough economic times, we must do all we can do to protect working families and middle-class families. They are the heart and soul of a city or this nation, I would say. If they don't prosper, Chicago doesn't prosper at all. Right now, too many of them are struggling to make ends meet. And I talked about that in my budget speech. This is a very, very difficult time for people. People are getting laid off. Someone's getting cut back on overtime. Students have taken loans out. They graduate from college. They cannot find a job. And you can see that all over. The private sector is not producing jobs. They're not producing jobs. They keep laying off. Caterpillar just laid off another 2,000. So if you look at it presently, they keep laying off. And when they lay off, many times they're not layoffs. They call it elimination of jobs. That means they're not being called back, which is a very, very difficult time for all of us. When I announced the 2010 budget, I knew that some people would say that he hadn't cut enough spending or employees. The reality is that we've cut over $2.5 billion in spending since I've been mayor, and that this year and last year combined, we've cut another $341 million. The reality also is that we cut over 6,000 employees in the last 8 years, including another 220 vacancies, while maintaining service delivery, increasing number of police officers. And 70% of the budget, of course, are for fire, police, and OEMC, and that's what we remind ourselves. I also knew that some people would say we should raise taxes. There are the whole group of people out there that they say you should raise taxes. It's amazing, or fees or fines. Well, I won't do that at all. My job is to fight for Chicago's working people and middle-class families. And higher city property taxes are the last thing we should be asking homeowners to pay this year. They need property tax relief, and they need it now. So as we prepared our budget, I instructed our budget office to include property tax relief this year for the hardest hit low working and middle income homeowners. Tax bills are going out this week, and today I'm announcing the details of the property tax relief I announced last week. The program is needed primarily because of the phase-out of the state law that puts a 7% cap on the annual increase in the taxable value of property and a drop of this year's exemption under that law to $20,000 from $26,000. For the owner of a home valued at $200,000, that translates into higher property taxes as much as $335. Let me say again, on a $200,000 home, the property taxes would be as much as $335 higher this year just because the 7% cap exemption went down. But again, the increase in Chicago's property taxes, which was enacted 2 years ago, was out in a smaller increase of $60 on the $200,000 home. Overall, since I've been mayor, we've limited city property taxes to an average of 1.3% a year, well below the rate of inflation. And I said last week, my recommendation is that we use $35 million from the Parking Meter Human Infrastructure Fund this year for grants to help homeowners. We estimate that through this program, we'll be able to give a refund check ranging from $25 to $200. The average refund will be at $150. Here's how our property tax relief program will work. First, all homeowners must apply for it. Why? Because the program is tied to the homeowner's income. We don't have that information unless the homeowner gives it to us. Next, there will be income limits on those who can apply. If a total household income is more than $200,000, the homeowner isn't eligible for this program. We believe this is a reasonable income ceiling for the program. Using this number, we estimate we'll be able to give a refund as many as half of Chicago's approximately 400,000 homeowners. The amount of tax relief is based on the combination of income level and how high the tax increase was. For example, the lower your income, the higher your tax increase, the bigger your refund would be. If a homeowner is eligible, he or she will be able to get an application either online or at many service centers and libraries all around the city. Property owners will be able to estimate the size of the refund from a chart on the application. If they're still not sure how the program works, they should call 311. To complete the application, a homeowner will need to produce a copy of their current tax bill, a photo ID, a signed affidavit verifying household income. This program has to be approved by the City Council. We expect it to begin around the end of November and run for about 2 months. So we get this program up and running as soon as possible. We'll present it to the City Council for approval as a November 18th meeting. Once an application has been received, it should take about 6 to 8 weeks for a homeowner to get a check from us. People will be able to file the application in person at the city's service sites or the Tax Assistance Center at City Hall. Moving forward, it is absolutely necessary that the General Assembly extend 7% cap, make it permanent, as long as we've been urging them to do it. We will continue to fight for property tax relief in the next session, including a so-called circuit breaker program that targets relief to homeowners in the greatest need. Especially now, my vision for Chicago is driven by the reality of tough economic times, that Chicago's working middle-class families are struggling. And that's why we must fight for them, act now to help them get through these very bad and difficult times. That's why we're giving them property tax relief. Thank you.